video, we will find derivatives of trig functions. So here we have a bunch of new information. Well, it's not new, but it's important information that you're going to need for this assignment. So here we have the basic trig functions and its reciprocals. So if you know one, you have the others. Basic trig derivatives. So the derivative of sine is cosine, and the derivative of cosine is negative sine. And then a couple more that will help you when simplifying other trig functions down the road. Something else I like to always have handy is the quotient rule. So this is just, f prime g minus f g prime over g2. That's what I have to tell myself so I can remember every time. But, just a sticky note everywhere so I don't forget. Because this negative, that's going to get you. Okay, so here we go. I know that my function tangent is actually sine over cosine. And that will give me the two functions I need to use the quotient rule. So we're going to say sine of x is going to be f of x, and cosine of x will be g of x. Now we also know f prime x, or the derivative of sine, is cosine, and then we also know the derivative of cosine is negative sine. And I know that because of my cheat sheet right there on top. Okay, so now we're going to apply the quotient rule right there. So h prime of x, I have f prime is cosine of x times g prime, times g is just cosine, minus f is sine, g prime is negative sine. So you can write it like this, or you can just make this negative a positive. It doesn't matter, as long as you don't forget that this minus belongs to the formula right there. Everything over g squared, so cosine squared of x. Okay, so here we go. So cosine times cosine is cosine squared minus, just kidding, plus, because two negatives make a positive. So sine squared of x over cosine squared of x. I know from the Pythagorean identity that sine squared plus cosine squared is 1. So that's going to make it easier right there to simplify. So if I know this whole thing right here equals 1, then I know h prime of x will be 1 over cosine squared of x. But now I also know the reciprocal of cosine squared. So the reciprocal of cosine right there is going to be secant. So I will simplify this as secant squared of x. Now, if I were you, as you're working on this assignment, keep track of the derivatives as you're working them out. They will come back. So that will come back as your, new basic derivative. So every time you're looking for the tangent, for the derivative of tangent, you already know, because you already did the hard work right here, that is going to be secant squared. Okay, let's do one more with the same idea. I'm going to get my sticky note from over here so I don't make boo-boos. All right, so now I will find the derivative of cosecant. From the basic trig, I know cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. Okay, so I will go ahead and rewrite this as 1 over sine of x. Now I have, this is f of x. I like when f of x is just 1. G of x is sine. So f prime, so the derivative of 1 is 0. So, and then the derivative of sine is just cosine. No negative, so that's good. Okay, so h prime of x, so f prime is 0. So anything that I multiply by 0, I don't even have to write it out. So I'm going to go straight to the second part. So negative function f is 1 times g prime. G prime is right there, cosine. So cosine of x over sine squared, because that's my g function. So sine squared of x. Okay, now here's the thing. Sine squared, I know that it's sine times sine. So I'll go ahead and split that up. Sine of x times 1 over sine of x. Now, we all know cosine over sine. Cosine over sine is cotangent. So I will replace this with cotangent of x. So h prime of x equals negative cotangent of x times, now 1 over sine, right there, the reciprocal is cosecant. So times cosecant of x. Okay, that's something else you need to add to your little cheat sheet or chart. The derivative of the cosecant is negative cotangent times cosecant.